Welcome back. We're filming these in succession, so it's so funny. We had to like cut off the first one after we were so excited to talk about this next set of episodes. But yeah, welcome to Film Study, an all-American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Got Arlon, got Naj, and we talking. Guys, wait, this is the last one. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
This has been so fun for real. Like,
me. You started my Grace hate so good. Like, I came in here like with no hate in my heart for this lady, and now I'm just like,
well, now see, I gave you your Grace hate. Arlon gave me. Now I'm just gonna start saying elite status. Like, just
oh my god, elite.
I mean, like elite.
Elite, like that's one word.
Elite.
You'll always hear him say. What's elite, Arlon? Dia,
you know,
Oh
like
my gosh.
Asher, you got Bolivia.
More just Bolivia. Okay, I'm like, why is Bolivia the third option? That's kind of crazy.
So funny.
Kim
I know,
Keisha.
not after
Asher,
Dia. Like,
but-
what is this?
Asher and
before
Jamie.
Bolivia?
That's come on.
That's a
come
choice.
on. But anyway,
That's a choice.
That's a choice.
That's a
But
choice.
today we gonna talk about episodes 13 through 16 of season 1, and let's hop into it. These were actually elite, not like Asher and Dia. I'm joking with you. No, but what is this? I want to say it's like 13, 14, 15, and 16. These last couple episodes, after Legacy sort of introduces Corey and Corey's return, I felt like the last 3 episodes felt like a multi-part series almost.
Yeah.
But it was a roller coaster. Coop gets further into her revenge thing with Sean. She ends up like hurting things with Patience. But actually things with her parents get better.
Yeah.
Asher's father is still trash.
Oh
and he was
The
like
worst,
sort of
man.
up and
He's
down.
probably the worst. You think he's the worst parent in the whole thing?
I definitely think. Oh well, right now, yes. Like where
Right
we are
now,
in the
yeah.
series, like in season 1, he's definitely the worst.
He's,
but I feel like
Yeah.
by
he's
the
worse.
barrel. He's by the
Yeah,
barrel.
honestly, All American just be in the writers' room. Like, who can we have be a terrible parent next?
Well,
Like,
nah,
Right,
once he
yeah.
told Asher to get out because he's not playing football anymore, that was the
Right.
craziest thing.
I'm like, aren't you
It's
laid
crazy.
off? Like, shouldn't you not be
That
criticizing
was
there's
the
so
your
many.
craziest
children?
thing.
There's so many bad parents in this.
Oh my god,
show.
teachers too, because this teacher
But
right
not
here,
Laura. Laura will never be in that category.
real.
Yeah, no,
we up,
yeah.
we up, we up.
We up.
She the realest.
Yes. But Asher was also up and down in terms of being a friend, but you know, he was still trending upward as a friend who was looking out for Liv in a certain way at the near the end of this season. And what else? Liv and Layla sort of up and down as well, but mostly good. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like Spencer and Grace were up and down as well due to the aftermath of
it was a
everything.
roller coaster for everybody. For everybody. Spencer and Layla, again, fighting.
Same
They
thing.
weren't up and down. They were just down.
They were in a roller coaster. They were in a circles. Like they just was going back to the
They
same
were
thing
in a
every episode.
circle, just going back to the same fight. We finally found out Billy and Grace's secret, which was a doozy. A mess.org, a mess.net, and it was that they had an affair. And so that just made how they moved throughout the entire season just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what else? Spencer reels with finding out that, like, about the affair, but he also is like reeling from his dad coming back, and again, sort of this weight that he has, and this burden that he has, the responsibility that he feels for his community. So it was interesting to see like season 1 in that way, with like all of these questions sort of up in the air, and all of these relationships going through their trials and tribulations, but also like their really good moments as well, I think. Yeah, there was a lot of good moments. But yeah, that was. What did y'all think about these last couple episodes, 13 through 16?
It was good to have questions answered. I feel like one of the biggest things was obviously Billy and Grace, because there were certain things being indicated throughout these like 16 episodes about their relationship and their history before, you know, this current day. And to see the approach and the aftermath that we've expected to occur was very bewildering. And I feel like I feel like I was more so focused on how would, you know, the Bakers handle it, because, you know, Spencer, I thought that, you know, we all thought that Spencer was going to have this big reaction, and he didn't. While with the twins, they had a reaction, and they had a proper reaction, especially with Grace, but also show how powerful their family was, because this is one of the most intense times of Laura's life, because she's, you know, doing a campaign, and then to find this out during the campaign, and then to like paint this facade, perfect family, and then to have her kids behind her that's like, listen, you're not going to drop out this campaign because of Billy. You're going to push forward. It showed
this trash man. Yeah.
It was so weird when they had that picture, like when they were taking the picture. Like, you know,
and he was in, and Billy was like, thank you for this.
Why did he
like,
try to touch? If that man tried to touch me,
I was so like, I felt so uncomfortable.
It pissed me off because that was like the first of many times he tried to approach Laura or Jordan, and even Olivia, to try to act like everything's okay. And I'm just like, you literally, like, they just found us out yesterday. And they have to continue like having Spencer live in the house and whatever the case may be. They welcomed Grace into their home on multiple occasions. Like, they have to mourn this their way.
That must have felt so bad for Spencer.
Yeah,
like,
and Billy felt entitled. Like, Billy kind of felt entitled to like think that he can still talk to them and still somewhat try to explain his case.
Yeah,
and still try to talk to Laura about how he wants to fix their marriage. It just really blew me because he had audacity. And I feel like they didn't take it as much as they should have, especially with Grace. Like, Billy was taking the heat, and with Spencer, he just like, okay, Grace, you cheated. I just hated how they approached that. Like, like he was like, I don't even think
how they just went through the whole season. Like, they didn't, like, they were like good people. Like, they were good.
Like they were good, and like they made like this whole before that they made, you know, Corey Slunk, he was the biggest bad of all time, which he is still trash. Yeah. But like Grace was not.
But what they did is bad too. They did really bad.
Yeah. But in terms of their direct impact, like I said, once you find out that they had an affair, it puts into question like everything that we've seen from this season up until now. And it's like, it's the stuff that we hinted at when we're talking to Homecoming, but it's like, you know, I'm like, should we hop into the episode now? Let's hop into the episode. I'm gonna come back to this when we find out about the affair. But Legacy, that's when Spencer has this assignment about who's your greatest influence, and that sort of kicks us off on this, like, Corey returning, and him starting to really understand how good of a football player his dad was, because he didn't even know. Grace never told him that his dad was this amazing football player. And we were talking about it being 50% of his grades.
Yeah, and it was wild because, like, how did, you know, Spencer writing a paper about a certain person was not perfect, but JJ was able to write it about The Rock. And like I want to know, like, how I want to know what JJ wrote down. Yeah, like how did JJ get this perfect? Like, he can write this subject about The Rock, but he can write an essay.
What he got a C? Yeah,
he was able to write an essay in high school, but in college he plagiarizes. Like, so he was able to write an article here. But
wait, did JJ plagiarize?
Remember that story that JJ told about The Rock helping him? Like, remember like that story that he told, like,
that was plagiarized
recently.
No, it was like he plagiarized. I think he copied a certain part in his essay, and that's how he had to like have that guy help him, and that's when we got the information. Got you.
Yeah, I think what I took away from that, and I could be wrong. It just could be what I thought, but what I took away from that was that Spencer's essay wasn't personal. in JJ's essay was. Like Spencer probably talked about, and this is something that I know. I was just like, if y'all go through Deion Sanders' nicknames one more time, I don't care if it's prom time.
Nah, for real. Talking some prom time.
Deion Sanders prom time. They said it every other line.
Yeah,
it was okay, I get it.
I'm like,
but.
You're wasting screen time talking
about
prom
you're wasting
time.
screen exactly period exactly. Please. And so I assume that it was because Spencer sort of just did this surface level essay, whereas JJ's essay probably wasn't serious at all, but at least it was like showing a real genuine connection to JJ, which I think has followed him through the series. Like he still talks about The Rock to this day or whatever. And so I think that the professor was the teacher was pushing Spencer to dig a little bit deeper because he has put in quality work and he is really, really smart. But it was interesting. It's just like, okay, what was this essay that JJ wrote?
And that essay alone opens up a can of worms with him and Layla, because she's like, because he mentions about the influence, and then also seeing his dad play in some of the football videos that he saw with Jordan, and she was like, oh yeah, well, like father like son, and he got mad. He was like, I ain't like my dad, like.
She's like, I'm not saying that he gets any credit or anything, but like talent is sometimes hereditary.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. And then, with Spencer, he finally finds out about, because he's, if they told him about the tea, whatever would happen due to Corey being back in Crenshaw. And, Billy and Grace tell him one-to-one about the affair because Spencer told Billy a few episodes back that Billy better tell them about the affair or he will, during that time. Afterwards, but he learns about the affair. He learns about the affair and whatever.
And in this episode, it was like it was the setup to basically Spencer finding out about the affair, and it was really because he writes this essay. He has to rewrite the essay, and this whole time he's just like, I didn't know that my dad was a good football player. And like, I guess Grace had like just never mentioned his dad at all, and so he was really taken aback by the fact that his father was an amazing football player.
He was playing football. Like that's kind of she's probably like, Billy was so good. That's probably what she was saying.
For real,
like, literally.
She probably said nothing, which is weird because if she knows her son eats, sleep, and drink football, why did she not mention anything?
Because she's trash. But...
she was progressively trying to exclude anything about his dad, to where she's talking about because he went to Willie and he asked about his dad, and Willie was telling,
and he was just Spencer like, you should ask your mom. And what was interesting about that is that Spencer is finally, I think, trying to heal from some of these wounds he has about his father, and this was like a nice little landing spot for him to like intro this conversation. Like, I've been mad at him whole life, but I really don't know much about him. And so this whole episode was him trying to like just find out more about his dad. And Grace took that opportunity to like
uplift herself. She uplifted herself. She was like,
gaslight him into being like, oh, why are you suddenly asking about your dad? Da, da, da. It's me. I'm the one who raised you.
Yeah, she was like, I was the one that had to step up for your brother. Like, bitch, who fault was that? Like, who fault was that? Like, come on now. Like, who fault was that you had to step up to the plate and take care of both Spencer and Dylan? You was out here locking lips. Like, come on. Like, I just feel like every time he tried to mention his dad, she would divert to the point that he didn't even know anything about him. He just knew that his dad left. She didn't ever tell why. When he asked her previous time, she denied it. And the lies finally caught up to her. And, he finally noticed, he finally sees her. He finally sees Corey in the crowd watching him which is something in itself.
Messy GW at it again.
GW definitely got into Spencer's head and caused him to like fumble a little bit, which gave Jordan the perfect time to shine. And but Spencer did overcome and he did get the A on that paper. He wrote about his biggest influence being the absence of his father.
Yes,
and it was good to see.
It's I love that. I think this is so that it was so well written, because then it goes from Spencer talking about the absence of his father to that thing that we were talking about earlier, because this is the first time Preach really talks, and Preach is sort of driving Coop around, and Tyrone is taking Coop on Sean's route, etc., etc., etc. And Coop is really trying to do something, like she's really trying to get her revenge. And Preach essentially tells her, like, girl, you're not as smart as you think you is.
No, when Preach said that, I was shook, because Preach is silent. I was shook.
It's one of the best lines to this day.
Yeah, she thought she ate, and he ate her right on up, because he is quiet, which means that he's observing. You know, and obviously Tyrone trusts him in a degree. So she was trying to be like,
she was literally like talking to people.
Yes, she was in the wide open, approaching everybody who dealt with Tyrone, and was like, you know, he was part of the reason why Sean died, right? She was just telling everybody.
Exactly.
Like she was telling everybody. And I don't know how no one. I don't know how no one
just
did
not
anything.
Smart. Just not smart.
Like, how did no one go back to Tyrone faster was beyond me, because she told everybody that was connected to him. Why is that Sean Bag? Why do you guys Sean Bag asking every question? Like, you're no better than Spencer.
You know, Sean wouldn't leave his bag, you know that, right? Like,
yeah, so like, right, like, he's already dead, girl. Like, one of the people was like, yo, he's dead. Like, what you want me to do about that?
Exactly.
But she gets the bag, and this dude named Ray was Ray had Sean Bag when they shot him, and she was like, yeah, I gotta tell Preach about this. And this whole episode, she was just trying to talk to Preach, try to get him to warm up to her. And, you know, she was, at the end of the episode, she was like, hey, you know, what did you do in jail? And he was like, I read Greek mythology. I was reading, you know, and she was like, about how they can take them down from the inside. And she was like, and he was like, yeah, you know, they weren't that smart.
Yeah.
And looked right at her, and she looked away like, oh, yeah, like he knows. And the thing is that, and it's kind of crazy, because like, it was fast to see how Preach was able to pick up on Coop's like, turmoil and hatred for Tyrone faster than Tyrone was. It was as if Tyrone was just so big-headed on trying to thrive on getting this paper, that he literally ignored that this one person has been questioning him a lot. Like, she questioned him so many times. She questioned him so many times, and he never got mad. But then that man,
like, literally, I'm surprised he didn't just like take out his. He's been quick to take out his gun before. Like, so I'm surprised he didn't say. You say one more thing.
No, for real, like. He took his gun out on so many people, even fixed it at the party.
Why is Coop like immune to this?
She's immune to it. Like,
answer me that question.
When she told him to get out her house or hurry up, like she's done a lot of stuff to question his position as leader, and he just like, oh, come on, Coop, ha 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 ha, go ahead and chill, take this ride with Preach. Like, how are you not seeing that she's challenging your leadership? Or she's having people behind you conspire against you. Like, I don't understand. I don't see it. And the fact that Tyrone, I mean, Preach notices that, but is still loyal to not tell Tyrone is baffling to me, because he just suddenly got the eye of the beholder. He can understand that she's right. Like, I don't understand. Like, he's so
very
loyal
interesting.
To, like, yeah. Like,
it came down to it came to code and not being a snitch and all that stuff. But it was just very interesting. But it was like, very how does Coop just she's just immune. She's just immune to receiving the consequences of her own actions.
For real. Seriously, she has a shield, and it's definitely getting it every time. So
yeah. Meanwhile, that was sort of Spencer and Coop. One last thing on Spencer and everything that has to do with his dad. Grace, this was so interesting to me. Grace came to apologize to Spencer after they had a blow up almost in front of Mike, that he was in the other room. And she goes to the baker's house, and she comes to apologize, and then she gets upset that he's interested in knowing about his dad. And I think I mentioned this the other day, but she literally tells him, like, your dad doesn't deserve the title of, like, who's been your greatest influence. And it's just like,
why?
Yeah. I'm just like, all right.
it's just like your son is asking these questions and he has these ideals and you're getting upset with him for just wanting to know about his father. And in the same breath, right, telling him, oh, it wasn't about you. You know, she's told him that before, like, oh, it wasn't about you that your father left her, but still holding and like letting her resentment of Corey shade Spencer's whole perception of this man, even down to the fact that she almost can't even admit like these simple facts that he's a really great that she's wrong, that he's a really great football player. Like she couldn't even admit
that they're on the same level. Her and Corey are on the same level. Like
they're on the same level.
She's not better than him.
And how does she care about this random teacher feelings more than her own son? To where she said, "You're embarrassing me in front of my guest. Why are you bringing your teacher to the house?" 1, 2, like,
Grace is
she
something.
blew me. She blew me.
She's certainly something.
Like, oh, I'm mad at my son for finally catching up on my lies and that he had to find out about his dad through other people. Let me try to paint myself in the light because, like, how, like, and the thing is what blows, and I feel like you knew she was guilty, was when everybody else between these last like 13 or 14 episodes have mentioned how Spencer reminds them of his dad, but she never did that. She never said that. You never mentioned, oh, you remind me of your dad, even though y'all didn't break up or leave because of your kids, but you made it seem that way. You made it seem like it was the whole 3 of y'all that made him leave, and that he just purposely got up one day and said, "Forget my family."
And that's the issue I have with Grace, because it's like, you, like, Corey leaving and abandoning his family is like a separate issue to, I feel like, whenever you're a co-parent and like you talk about your other co-parent in a negative light, you know what I mean? It's like those things where it's just like, you know what, we didn't work out, but I'm not gonna even if you are a trash person, I'm not gonna shade my kids' perception of you. I'm gonna let them come to their own conclusion. But Grace did not do that. She just let this, like, almost this hatred of Corey fester with Spencer for so long. And then when he realizes, wait, like, I have something in common with my dad, he was so confused.
She said she festered the hatred for him, and then never clarified or fixed. She just let him fester with this hatred within him for years.
Fester and then fostering it, giving it strength.
Thinking that he would get over it, while also whispering in his ear how his dad doesn't deserve to see his success.
It's trash.
Like that. Yeah. So, like, you're thriving off the negativity because you're guilty. And the thing is that you don't feel guilty at all. You just feel guilty that Spencer found out, because you kept questioning Billy about why he chose to be with the girl that you basically didn't want him to be with a couple episodes beforehand. And then once the cheating came out and Corey found out, you still went to Billy to ask about giving your son a chance. So you didn't care. You just cared that it came back on how you as a mother handled your kids and the fatherhood that is. Because at the end of the day, both you and Corey did something wrong. He distanced himself from you because he felt resentment for you ruining his career, kind of like how Billy was, and you cheated. And instead of basically saying both of y'all did the wrongs, you just made it seem like it was more so on his side as to why he abandoned his family. And that's where you lost me, sis. Because both of y'all are trash. Just accept the fact. So, but, you know.
Yeah, no, these are facts. And then on the other side, the last 2 folks who had the assignment, let's talk about a good parent. My goat, Laura. You know, literally not even a day later, right? I promised you I'd pay more attention. You said I don't pay enough attention in the last episode. Let me pay more attention. And Liv tells her, and so it was that whole storyline about her trying to understand what Liv has going on, and Liv being like, you know, my greatest influence was pills, the little white pill. So they have that cute little moment, that like really, really nice, beautiful conversation.
Yeah, that was Liv's.
It was so impactful.
Yeah, because you're watching Laura, like, kind of feel conflicted that, you know, her daughter's feeling some type of way about, you know, them not noticing her. And then also to realize that she may not be her daughter's biggest influence, and then for Olivia to finally like show that it was the white pill, but it was also, it developed into her mother being her influence as well. It was big because, you know, I get, you know, it can be kind of triggering for Olivia to like talk about her, you know, past, you know, with her addiction. But for her to write it, it's like a personal diary of hers that she wrote into this essay. So, you know, she had to definitely feel like pull up the big pants and like tell her mom or show her mom the effects that pill had on her, but also how it developed into her realizing her mom was her biggest figure besides the pill. And it was definitely good, especially it was continuing on her family like noticing things about her, especially Laura, while, you know, Billy was over here trying to clean up the mistakes he made and worry about that damn team.
Was he trying to clean? He was just trying to cover it up.
He was trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
He was trying to cover it up and everything. Like, he was more so worried about how Willie, GW in this case, was ruining Spencer playing this game. And he was like, "You knew what you was doing. You didn't come here for
he got like upset about Jordan. And it's like Jordan didn't have control over what GW did.
Yeah, like that wasn't his fault.
Exactly. What's so interesting is like this whole conversation about the essay and us talking about the teacher earlier made me think this. There are some teachers that are just goats because like for them to all write these essays and like obviously Spencer's eventual essay, and tell their teacher these sort of deep personal things and be open and honest with their teacher. You know, Spencer, it was like his dad's absence eventually. Liv, it was the little white pill. And for Layla, it was like having to do with her mother, which was so impactful for her and obviously we mentioned earlier, caused problems with her and Spencer because she was like, oh.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
You can't get too close.
Yeah, like this episode also, besides like the family stuff between Jordan and Billy and Grace and Spencer, you also have the kind of dynamic that starts to really shift how Spencer and Layla are definitely not going to last because of this article. You know, Spencer at the time, he was struggling to write this article. He didn't know what to write. And, you know, he talked to Layla and he was like, "Hey, I know that you're probably already done your article because you turned it in. Can I see what you wrote about?" And she got very like offended. She was like, "You know, you're going to ask to read about my diary." And, you know, so they kind of had that conflict where she kind of cuts him off about personal information about herself. And so he goes and leaves. And, you know, then at the end, she shows Spencer the album room about where her mom and dad hits were. And, you know, basically kind of saying that, you know, maybe Spencer will be happy to like realize or know his dad because of how angry he was about his dad towards the beginning of the episode, which is always something because, you know, she's kind of using like her parent stuff to have him open his eyes about his, which is why I think that due to her speech, he was able to handle that affair news better in the next episode.
I agree. Right, and she tells, I think this line is really underrated when she says, like, you know, I love just being able to know something nice about my mom, and like maybe one day you'll just want to know something nice about your dad. And I think that was a really underrated line, but I think you're right, is that we again start to see the cracks that are ever so present in this Spencer-Layla relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, she really, it's like a case of her sort of being private and not wanting to show him everything on her end, and then on his end, him crossing boundaries a little bit and just like poking around in a secret room she takes him to, just picking up, "Oh, what's this?"
No, for real. Like, I just
sir, this is not your house. Like, get it back today.
I mean, she did leave him there though. Like, she left him there. Like, obviously, somebody's gonna like look around.
It was
like...
already in the room, and she said, "Oh, I just want to show you the room. Not I want to show you this specific journal that's shut and locked, and you have to open the flap."
No, like I just feel like even though the relationship didn't work in that aspect, they definitely did help each other out in seeing more of their eternal struggles, especially with his dad and like more so her mom. That was one of the best things that came out of their relationship was
they taught each other. They taught each other a lot.
They definitely able to tell each other more about how like to read each other, like how he was able to read her when he first met her, and then for her to say like, yo, you're carrying burdens, you're trying to like save everyone, you need to stop doing that. And then also his family and his dad especially, it was good to see that they did at least read each other, because once again, you know, they've been watching each other so much that they were able to pinpoint things that they didn't realize about each other. So that was good.
I agree. I think that's the best aspect. And I think I mentioned that a lot in the last 2 episodes too, is that the best thing that came out of that relationship is how much they both grew from having been in that relationship. So for that, I'm like, you know, good for you, Spela. Good for you.
No, good for y'all. Good for y'all. We love growth.
Getting into Regulate, and I feel like we've been mentioning this a lot, but Corey comes back at the end of the last one, right? At the end of Legacy. And Corey and Billy are both in the James's house. And Grace is trying to act all tough and be like, I think both of you need to go right now. This whole episode could be termed like Billy and Grace trying to scramble to not tell Spencer the truth. And because they're scared that Corey is going to tell Spencer the truth. Mm-hmm. So they tell him to stay away from Corey. Mm-hmm. Only for, you know, Corey to be like, I wasn't even gonna mention anything about that.
Right. He didn't even care. Like he
didn't even care. He was just like, I just want to know my son.
Yeah, he really did. That. He got a family now, got a new wife or whatever.
Billy was getting scared because then
he was scared.
Both Billy and Grace were terrified, and that's why Grace ended up being like, "Listen, I don't know who you finna hear this from. I gotta be the first one." Like that was Grace's like deal in this because she literally like. What was it? Was it this episode or was it the next episode where Grace tells him? I think it was.
I think it's the next one because
it was this one. It was this one where Grace tells him.
This one.
It was this one because she like it's after I think it was like after some party or whatever they're going back to the house and Grace is just like, wait, I haven't been. This is my favorite line. I haven't been completely honest as to why your father had left.
Like no, really. And I feel like one of the biggest things that pissed me off about this whole scene is how Spencer literally just shrugged that off when he talked to Corey afterwards and was like, "Yeah, I mean, you want to blow up my mom and Billy's life as payback for having an affair, like as if that's just a little like trip."
Yeah.
You're just brushing over an affair, blowing up their life. How is him showing up, blowing up his life? Like that means that the freak would have been worse if you think that his parents is causing shambles. Like Spencer just said, okay, well, my mom lied to me for 8+ years, but you trying to ruin her life right now,
right?
Like, why do they like? Spencer gets mad at the smallest things, and he finds out about an affair. Like he literally blew his top at the party that he had about how about them lying and keeping a secret about him potentially being, you know, their Billy's son. But this is where he's like, okay.
Corey definitely picked a crazy time to come back.
Yeah, he did pick a crazy time.
And you know, it's interesting because in this same episode, like Tyrone is just wilding, like pulling out guns like it's nobody's business.
Oh my god, for real?
And Corey ends up saving Spencer because Spencer got a gun pulled on him. And he's just like, you know, your mom was so worried that she called me. That's how scared she was that you were going to go after Tyrone after Coop's getting, you know, deeper and deeper into this. And, you know, he says to Spencer, like, oh, a normal person would say thank you or whatever. And Spencer's just like, well, I ain't normal. And it's like,
yeah, I'm just like, what? No, Spencer, huh?
Like, I don't know, like, sir, I don't know, you was almost bye-bye for a little bit.
You was about to be wrestling with Sean, and he's like throwing it. First of all, why would you, Spencer? You must forget that you're human. You don't got no kryptonite. That's like you're human. Why would you approach Tyrone at a park in his own domain with nothing?
You must have lost your mind.
He lost it and didn't get it back because your dad saved your life. And then he always is shocked that somebody almost threatened him. He was shocked when Sean basically pulled out something on him. And then he's shocked that Tyrone did it. You cannot approach these gangsters and then be shocked that they about to kill
they're not actually hood. Like they won't actually do anything. I think that's what he's like.
They don't got names for themselves.
He grew up around them all. Like I feel like he thinks that like they won't do anything. You know?
Yeah, exactly. he think he got the Coop treatment. No, you got the Spencer treatment. You have the Spencer treatment. Goodness,
not the Coop treatment. It's true.
Not for real. Like
you're speaking facts though. You speaking facts.
Like,
and the thing is just like it is that where he'll just like, you know, have no concern for his safety whatsoever. And then on the other side of it, when somebody helps him out, it's sort of this just, especially when it's like his dad or it's just someone he doesn't like. He's just like, I don't need your help. I got him.
I'm
like, you don't.
I'm like,
you don't got it. You don't got it, sir.
I'm sleep. No, for real. Like, you ain't got it. Because if anything, you was about to be melting into them bleachers. Were you not?
Yeah,
like, come on now. Like, Spencer, be serious. Like, I don't.
But it's just be serious. Just be serious. This is a very unserious episode. I'm not gonna lie. It was a very unserious episode.
Like he said, let's make sure.
All ends.
He said, let's make sure our neighborhood don't have any violence, and then proceeds to try to pick a fight with Tyrone like the next day.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that the reason why he had this fight with Tyrone is because Layla's house got broken into, and this is all the way in Beverly Hills, and all the cops said was, oh, there were two black guys, and so he rushes to assume that it was Tyrone, leaving Layla, who said, wait, you're leaving right now?
It's funny because everybody, Billy, Coop, they all was like, dang, you trading on your neighborhood like that for some Beverly Hills? Like, why would we go up there? Like, he was like, nah, cuz it gotta be Tyrone because he's coming from me.
Layla
like,
was just like, I didn't make no assumptions about who it was. Like, I just wanted you to stay with me because I'm scared.
Spencer, time is money with Tyrone. Why would he be like, Spence had that party? Rob him. Like, how would he be able to do that? Like,
and to keep up with some random girl from Beverly Hills,
right?
Like, ooh, this is the day to attack her house.
Like, Spencer, when did Tyrone ever see you and Layla like sit and date each other? Like, let's come together and let's be for real.
Let's be for real.
Because, like,
I'm glad Coop ate him up when Coop said, profiling your own people now.
Yeah, like, for real. Like, the Karen in him came out. It was y'all Crips. It was y'all Bloods. It was the Blood Gang. Like, bruh, can you calm down?
It was a lot.
Because how would Tyrone be able to do a cool sweep? They sweep the house. That seems like that's been planned for months. I don't think he was able to do that in one night. Like, come on now.
Spencer thought because he could save the world in one night, he saved the community in one day.
He can save the house.
You know, he's like, anybody can do anything.
No, for real. Yeah. He saved the car in one night. He saved the park in one night. He saved the gang in one night.
That's kind of crazy.
He's unstoppable. Yeah. Like, he
just assumes everybody else got that power.
Right, and that's when Tyrone had to put him back in reality. Like, you can't
He said, man. Not on my watch. I'm super Negro. I'm kidding.
He said, not on my watch, Spence. I heard about you. He kept telling Spencer, like, you're not going to get so lucky next time. And it took your dad to save you. And Spencer was like, I don't need your help, all right? I had it under control. When?
Crazy.
What you going to start preaching to Tyrone about the power of blacks? Like, the power of sticking together.
He's
like, I don't know.
Man, they don't care about what he thinks. Like, they don't care.
He do. Spencer think that Spencer. I'm at this point. I'll be surprised if Spencer don't walk up on the stage and talk about how people dying was his fault. And if I didn't go to Beverly Hills, Sean one had got popped. And then
listen, we're about to get to that episode though, because he does do that.
He traumatizing me. Like, I feel like I am Spencer every day I'm just like,
It's a
Spencer,
lot.
why are you taking this baggage?
That's
for
why I'm
fun?
like, season 5 Spencer is nothing compared to
Light
season
work.
1.
Y'all gotta let it
Figure
go
out.
because, like,
yeah, it's like this man was out here
Spencer,
just being
he was putting
wild.
blocks. He was putting blocks on his to save list.
Like, period.
Come on.
Period. And so that was that was mainly the episode, was them dealing with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was that
yeah. And Coop. And the party, which Grace had nerve to invite the teacher to the party. She invited Mika, whatever that teacher is that she was dealing with.
Was this the party? I think the party was the next episode.
Yeah, I think it's the next episode, but
was
it? I can't believe she invited him.
Yeah, because Corey was trying to bring him a gift or whatever.
Yeah, the only other thing that happened in this episode was that Liv was only present for one scene, and that one scene was after Layla's house got broken into and Layla was there alone. She came to spend the night with Layla at her house, which was sweet. But yeah, nothing else. I don't think anything else happened besides the affair coming out and Spencer's trying to save the world.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But then this is when we get to Dylan's birthday party and Best Kept Secret in 15. Spencer knows now about the secret. And then here's the thing. The one part that he was mad at, and his feelings were justified, but I was just like, I just hate it. Hurt people, but like, I hate when people put their trauma onto other people, because once Spencer finds out and Billy and Grace are there, then he goes to Dylan, who they've been keeping the fact that Corey is back from Dylan. Mm-hmm. And he then is just like blurts out that Corey is back with no care for like how to tell Dylan at all because he's upset. And then he goes and gives Billy an ultimatum. He's just like, you gonna tell your family or am I?
Right. Like, what? And yeah, and Spencer tells his mom, I think, one thing that a good quote. I was in a dark place when my dad took off, and you left me there all this time. You knew the reason he left, and you never told me.
Boom.
Ate her up.
Ate her up.
Anything. And she had the audacity to expect him to let her explain her lying ass within a few hours. Like, she was like, "Oh, you're going to be mad at me still? You're going to let me talk? You don't deserve to talk. You had years to talk.
Yeah.
You don't let Corey do the talking." Like what?
I don't think. I want both of your perspectives on this. Do you think that Grace thought that she was wrong?
No, I don't think she
didn't think she was wrong, because she still didn't respect Billy's boundaries. She came out to him again for helping her son. She came into their domain. Then she questioned his marriage again. And she continued to lie about who Corey was as a person. So therefore, it was like as if she wanted to box up that past weakness and throw it behind her, as if that kiss was just like, oh, we just did it for fun. Like, it wasn't really anything factual. Y'all were exes. That reached bottom. And especially for her, she don't know the real severeness as to why Billy did it. When Billy did it for a weakness, like he felt he wanted to be home again like how he was before. She don't know the severity of it. So it wasn't just a regular thing. This was deep. And she just was like, okay, well, it's back. It was done is done. He shouldn't have left me because I cheated. Like, she doesn't regret it. She still doesn't regret it to this day. And if I was Laura, she would have to see me in the streets. No.
You know that's crazy that Laura really wasn't mad at Grace.
Right, like she's not mad. Yeah, she wasn't. Like, I understand. I'm happy that she's not.
She was mad. Let's not forget season 2.
I mean, she was mad, but like she could have been way more like mad. She would have been justified too, but she wasn't. Like,
she didn't let her anger
overshadow like her actions. Even in the next, I think in this, it's in the next episode, the championships, the season finale, where Laura is at the James's house trying to help Coop still. And I'll get to it when we get to that, but yeah, it was just like.
Grace, she's better than me.
Grace is just not it. She's not it because she like really is insidious.
No, she's actually insane. Like, I've never in my life seen someone like never falter, even though they were like dead ass guilty. Like she
don't
doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Don't care at
And
all.
I just was shocked at her being in this area, knowing that the fear is out, and she just continuing her life as if she didn't just ruin a whole family.
Vibing. She's literally vibing, like she's just living.
Also, can we talk about this on the affair? Because Billy knew he was about to be figured out, so he's like, I guess I gotta come clean now.
Yeah.
Billy didn't soft launch into this at all. Just went straight up to Laura. It was just like,
yeah.
Guess what?
That was the most.
That was insane. This man was just like, I had an affair with Grace James. It was a long time ago. It was, so don't hold me accountable. It was a long time ago.
That's exactly what it was given. It was a moment of weakness years ago when we got in an argument. So it ain't like I like her now. So.
And here's the thing. Laura ate Billy up low-key because it was just like, it's not even the fact that she said, it's not even just the fact that Corey was here. I'm not even going to touch that situation, the whole Corey, Grace, blah, 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 Spencer. She said, you said it because you knew my campaign would eventually dig it up, and Billy is so calculating. Like, he didn't care. The ultimatum didn't move him from Spencer because literally the ultimatum didn't move didn't move Billy at all because he was just like, okay, who cares? Laura ain't gonna find out. But when he realized that campaign was gonna find out, he was just like,
I'm telling you, once that guy in that bathroom episode before, during that episode where Asher Dad was acting buck wild, when that man told Billy in the bathroom that everything for that campaign would come to light, he was calculating from that day. And I just hate that, like, they built up this, like, this secret is the biggest thing of all time. It's going to really shake some tables. And the people that I wanted to react the most didn't. Like, I wanted Spencer to be angry because imagine listening to one side of a story for 8+ years about your mom hating your dad and you having this, like, idea that he never wanted you when the whole time he ran away from something that she done, but also him having resentment for losing his career. And then finding out in the most, like, oh, we got to tell you before everybody else finds out. Like, it was as if they just didn't care. Like, they didn't move their way into it. They didn't glide their way into telling this. This is like ruining someone's childhood, and y'all just rushed into it. And then for him to tell his wife like that, and not expect her to, one, look at you sideways because Corey just came in and just talked to you, which you then said that Corey did make you realize you can grow and stuff like that and own up to your mistakes. It was Corey that made you realize it. And if it wasn't Corey coming in to make you realize it, it would have been the campaign. So him owning up to his own accountability would have been the last thing he's done.
Literally.
Which he was trash. Literally. Like, he would have never told anyone anything.
He wouldn't have told anyone anything. And I think Laura is such a G for immediately telling the twins. Like, I'm not even gonna drag this out.
Yeah, she's real for that.
She's so real. She's so real. And the thing is, it sucks because it was just like, the teens were finally having a little fun. They was about to have a party at Chris's house. And they had that little funny line where JJ was, where Chris was like, how does JJ know my address? How does he have my address? Because he was texting everybody.
He still get JJ finds everybody address.
Still to this day, right? Who's JJ? Why is he playing on my phone?
JJ got that good technology. Like, he got that good Wi-Fi.
He got that good Wi-Fi.
He said he got that premium
kind, not the potato kind. But so then the things just pop off at this party at Chris's house because the twins arrive.
They arrive
having just reeled from this news. Obviously, it was very triggering for Liv, who wants to take a drink. Asher stops her. It was this whole thing. And they were just really upset because it's just like, yo, Spencer, you knew, and Spencer had told Layla, by the way. It was just like, Spencer, you knew, and you've known for a couple of days. You told Layla yesterday or something like that, and you didn't say anything to us, and you were upset at us because we didn't tell you that our parents dated.
Yeah. I low-key forgot that he was maddish at them. Like, I literally almost forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like,
He
it's
was,
kind of like this
remember,
thing.
this was the whole thing. He literally blew up the party. It was just like, hey,
Yeah.
what?
No, one thing about Spencer is that he's going to do things at that moment, but he's going to ponder on his. But yeah, like, he knew about the affair, but the thing is, I feel like it was kind of not his say because that wasn't his actions, but the way, but once
totally
again, yeah, but once again, he reacted to the kids that way, like it was their way. But I mean, I guess in their case, they were doing investigation on it, so technically, it did fall in their hands. While with Spencer, he didn't do those actions, but it was kind of this thing where you at this point should have said it. If you're gonna tell Layla, and like you might as well just.
And I think that's where
Yeah.
it is. Like that's the delineation. I don't think it's Spencer's responsibility or Spencer's. It's just not his responsibility and really his place to tell Jordan and Liv that the parents had an affair.
Yeah, because he had no part in it.
Bringing in Layla and telling Layla this,
That's
who had been staying at the Bakers because her house got broken into and her dad's not back. Her dad is still just like, goodbye.
She's trash.
Was just like, just don't bring her into it because now you're bringing in another person.
That's his girlfriend, and like he needs somebody to like
not
talk
even
to
that.
about
Like,
it.
not even that. Like, no, seriously. Like, at this point, at this point,
Yeah,
we gotta stop.
Even
they dated for like a month, like a month.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like at some point, like it being like you guys are dating, like that just becomes like almost like an excuse because it's like, yeah, it's his girlfriend, but like.
Yeah,
it's just one more person that like just doesn't need to be that doesn't need to be brought into it.
Yeah.
And putting a sort of both parties in an uncomfortable position because now she has to hide this from people she's known all of her life. Then they were upset at her because she hid it because they've known her all her life. And it's just like, I know you want to tell somebody, but go tell Coop. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's the thing. like if that's his girlfriend, exactly. If that was his girlfriend, then he should have told her about Coop, Tyrone, Sean. Like that should have been your focus.
It was like a pick and choose of like what information I'm willing to share, and that's just human nature for real.
Yeah, that's
and like
true.
they're all teenagers, they're all like don't know what they're doing anyway. So it's like it at the end of the day, it's like everybody's still human, but it was just a messy situation that ultimately Grace and Billy were just out of pocket for because it just created this whole big
division,
blow up. And I'm sorry, maybe it's just because I don't like Billy either. I don't like the both of them, but I almost hold like Grace slightly more accountable for it all because Grace is the one that called up Billy. It was just like, you owe this to me. You owe this to me. I mean, you better bring Spencer. Even when Spencer didn't want to go, she was like, you better bring Spencer to Beverly.
Yep, you better go to Beverly. Let him thrive. Like, okay.
But you can't give him no money though. You can't give him no money.
You can't give him no money. Let him be poor.
Yeah.
Like,
let him be poor, except for when you throw him a birthday party. That's fine. Except when I'm wearing your dresses, that's fine. But other than that,
right. If it ain't for me, I cannot stand that lady. Like, oh my god, like I just can't. Like, and
this is just the hate Grace season.
No, for real, and it's kind of bewildering because this season alone, it's like how many secrets can I selectively tell? Because like,
literally,
Spencer, why would you tell Layla? But you know that she's not telling you about a lot of her stuff. Like, you're giving her more than what she's giving you. Like, it should be a balance or something, or like maybe like until you're comfortable. Yes, but you're just telling her everything while she's already carrying her own weight. Like,
and I think that's really interesting too. Is again like what they taught each other and why they ended up not working out. Even in this episode, we have Liv and Layla having a conversation where Liv is just like, "Oh, have you told Spencer that like you're staying here because you're scared to go home?" And Layla's just like, "No, he still thinks I'm there because I'm worried about him." So it's just like Spencer. I don't think Spencer was in a place to be, neither of them were in a place to be in a relationship, but especially Spencer with just the tremendous change that his life was going through. And the fact that Coop had like gotten, he cares a lot. Like Coop is his family, right? And she had gotten herself into, you know, some crazy situations, right? He wasn't in a place to be able to like truly 100% like check in on her beyond like, oh, you know, you good and XYZ. So it just wasn't good. And then obviously she ends up being like depressed and stuff, and so she wasn't in a place to be a good girlfriend that could like handle all of that weight that came with dating Spencer James.
Exactly. And I feel like due to him putting that like cool thing on his back as well, it pretty much also shifted a lot of things, because due to Coop, and like I feel like if Coop never associated with Sean, then he wouldn't have cared about the gang stuff anyways. He would have just turned off and continued on his life.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
I feel like due to Coop like getting into this gang stuff, they made him continue to come back to Crenshaw, because yes, he came back to Crenshaw to some degree for his parents. I mean, for his mom and, you know, Dylan, but you know, and that might have been some time until he really started to get comfortable. But he started to get more comfortable on Beverly Hills and didn't really come back to Crenshaw that much. But it took Coop, Patience continued to call him about Coop, that made him continue to go on, because due to that, then Sean got killed. And then that became I gotta see it, the community. And I feel like if he didn't go through all those things due to Coop, not saying Coop, that's, you know, she's the main factor, but she kind of is.
No, she is.
Yeah, she is. And she said that she didn't bring him into this. Yes, she kind of did. But due to her transactions of doing all this led him to not move on once again, but pick up all this just luggage from what you've done in Crenshaw. And I feel like if Coop never did that, I feel like he would have been perfectly fine, or balancing, trying to, how do I live now? Once he got that job, he would have probably been fine, living his life, forgetting everything at Beverly Hills, and kept thriving. But due to that last connection of Crenshaw with his Coop, that made him just keen to continue this 2-life thing. And look where we're getting at.
Can we talk about how, because you really just like opened my eyes to this for real. Coop has been the op since season
one. She's been
Coop
the
is
op.
The reason we didn't get Coop is the reason we didn't get Spolivia in season 1, because he was like going back and forth. It's still to this day, Coop is an op in present day.
She's an
for
op
the same reason, and like it's just crazy how this trajectory, because I really think he truly would have embraced Beverly a little bit more had it not been for this like crazy thing that was like trying to care for Coop and trying to get her out of the gang situation, even when she's still getting herself into like this
more
further,
and more stuff.
right? And
I was gonna let you finish, because I was about to get her up.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
No, because she would continuously tell Spencer to let go of Crenshaw, continue to thrive in Beverly Hills, but then uses Laura, who is her connection to Beverly Hills, to help her out. Yeah. Oh, go ahead and thrive in Beverly Hills. Go ahead and do this. But then you keep having him have this connection to Crenshaw. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna let Crenshaw go. I'm gonna stop him, get out the gang. Tyrone gave you that out. You know, you can't hang out with us, Coop. You know, you didn't prove your loyalty. You could have continued that and left. No,
Sean gave her an out too. Let's not forget all the people that have given Coop an out, and she just doesn't take it.
She came back. So you made yourself get more deeper, and then it's like, I'm shocked on how I can't get out. I can't. Who fuck was that? Coop?
Oh yeah, Tyrone's gonna be coming for me. Like in this episode,
Tyrone,
right? Like,
Tyrone was more so worried about Spencer than anything, like, because he kept questioning his authority on as a gang member. He was not saying, I'm gonna go ahead and harass Coop all day. Girl, he just came to your crib, play some video games, and let you go do some things. You could have left, and like he didn't even see you as a real potential contender. Anyways, he kept letting people down talk you, and you had to keep proving that you were strong. Like, you could have left, and he wouldn't cared. You just made it feel like you were that important. Like you were trying to do Spencer to the hood, and it flopped for you. So then you had to bring Spencer back, and it's always when he's conveniently doing something. If it's a game, if it's a relationship thing, if it's him thriving in the team, it's always Coop doing something at that exact time to where he has to fumble some way or choose who's more important, my community or Coop or Beverly Hills. I'm just like, how you keep giving him these speeches about improving your loyalty and letting Crenshaw go, and then you continue to have getting beat up, getting guns or knives pointing at us. Like, come on now. And then she got offended that Spencer got mad at her as if she wasn't living in his crib, as if people wouldn't go and shoot up if she did something against them. Like, they didn't know that you were living with Spencer's parents at the time. Come on. Like, she was living dangerously. Like, trash.
She was. What are your thoughts on Coop, Arlon?
I don't know. She just brought a bunch of stuff on her own. Like, I hate the whole gang storyline. I always hated it. I never really cared for it. It's just always just boring to me, honestly. Like, because I just hated how Spencer would keep going back to be in that, and it was just annoying. But I did like how Coop set up Tyrone and all that stuff, and I love her relationship with Coop, so I like that and all that stuff. So that, like, those were like good points. But when it was just like her joining and all that stuff and revenge and all that stuff, I really scene. Just oh my god,
it was a lot. It was a lot.
They really, and it messed up her relationship with patients and stuff like that. But I don't know, it was
so much.
It was up and down for me. It wasn't like my favorite, but it wasn't like always the worst.
Yeah.
But
it was too much. I just feel like the gangster stuff could have been there, but they wasted so much time on like that being Coop's only thing is gangsters and thugs, that like I'm just like, there's more to Crenshaw than just that. Like, it shouldn't have taken like Sean dying for Spencer to realize or like care about his community more. This had already been a thriven. Like, you mean tell me in high school he just continued on the anger of his dad and started acting more violent? Like, why was he not acting like this in middle school or elementary school? Why did it just find her up in high school?
Because Grace was just like, you know who's trash?
Your father, your daddy. Like, your daddy. Like, I don't understand. So, like, I just feel like the gangster stuff was something I didn't care for. Like, every time I see, like, when I rewatch and Coop does that jumping thing, I skip past it.
It's just like,
it's just too much.
Exhausting.
They wanted to bring the stakes to the show, and I'm just like, them stakes is definitely not rewatchable because it triggers, like, it's triggering. I'm not even part of the gangster life. Like, I was like, girl.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like they brought out a lot of interesting conversations again, like in terms of older or like more seasoned gangs versus like newer people, and so they brought out some interesting conversations. But the way in which the storyline has then shifted and followed sort of the series, and not to say like gangs are definitely not a part of the show right now, but like just how we're still dealing with the effects of this, and I just get annoyed at Coop all over again.
No, for real.
Yeah,
like,
annoyed at Coop all over again. Yeah,
like I don't like. One thing I feel like is unbelievable is how what's his name, Flip. I'm supposed to believe that Flip is like a OG to like Spencer's family, and I'm just like, I don't even see him visit. Like oh yeah,
I think it was just like he knew of them, right? Because Spencer dated Kia, and that it's kind of like
Kia,
that, like, oh, we see what you're doing, young man, type of deal, because he was a really good football player and he's rising to this national prominence. That's what I thought. But again, it is sort of unbelievable. It's like, okay, like, why does Flip care this much about Spencer? And like, if like the Jameses are untouchable, why are we having these conversations? Why is it like a tough fight every single day?
Pulled out on him? And the thing is that, like, why did it take Spencer to make y'all have this realization that y'all can't mess with the younger thugs? Like, why did
that Tyrone now?
Like, why did it take why did it take now? Like,
they should have been new.
Kids, like they should have knew. They should, like, then you already said, you had to tell them. They was letting this dude murk people, and they was just sitting down, like, eating corn or something, eating some buffalo wings at the grill table. Like,
buffalo wings. Oh my god!
At the barbecue cookout. Like,
corn is like the first. You're like, yeah, that was just eating some corn.
That's the first side when I go to a family barbecue. Corn.
You're like, oh, I be going straight to the corn, straight to the corn on the cob. Is it loose kernels or is it corn on the cob?
Like corn on the cob, like the sweet corn.
Yeah. You had some butter on that? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yo, now that's getting hungry.
I know, exactly. We almost there. We got like 10 more minutes. We're talking about the season finale. Last thing on this. Loved that, or let's mention this. Jordan punches another person. I think he punches Cam in this episode. And when the family gets back, when Jordan and Liv get back, I loved that Liv said this in this way. Again, this is the Liv stand in me screaming. But when she tells Billy and she eats Billy up in that last few seconds, and Liv saying like, you lied about literally everything, and then he's just like, oh, I'm gonna try to get my family back, and she's like, well, you better pray you can. And I'm like,
right, exactly. Girl, she ate.
Eat him up. Eat him up.
She ate down. Like,
she did.
Also, didn't Priest get shot?
Did he in this episode?
Yeah. Yeah, I put down Priest was shot at the end of my notes.
Yeah, Priest was shot. Yeah, because he was Coop had been trying to get Preach to shoot, and then she was trying to go back, and it was just like, oh, you're not a killer, blah blah. It's just Coop being Coop again. Coop being Coop again.
Yo, for real. Because then, she decided to change after she kept provoking to kill this man. She said, because Patience got her,
messing up her own plan. Messing up her own plan.
It was Patience. Patience like, you're not a killer. You're not a killer.
She could have just continued with the plan. I don't.
For real. Like, I'm sorry. Like, girl.
If I can blame Coop, I will. If I can blame Coop, I will.
Yeah, he like Tyrone killed 2 family members. Basically, he basically ended a family line.
Wild.
That man has to die. Like, he has to go. Like, he killed 2 brothers.
Tyrone was out of. He was just doing any and everything.
He was killed. He was out of control.
He was did it for no reason too. Like,
it was
like
it was his job.
There was no reason.
His job.
Yo, Sean wanted to just leave. He didn't want to leave that.
Right. He paid this man. He paid this man
That's
for what?
That's how it is. That's how it be in the gangs. That's how you think you don't leave me. No, I own your life. That's what. That's how
he thought. He said he thought I was feeling you.
Yeah.
And then Chris, you see the spiral of Chris and Olivia's relationship, because he's like, you already stayed with Asher at the football thing. I let it slide, but like, dang, you out here. Why's Asher worrying about you drinking at this party? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Stay out of it.
But it was a really good thing that he actually like didn't let her drring. That was
let her drink.
Thing.
And then Layla, she stays at the diner all night. She's gone through it.
Because ain't nobody noticed, because there's too much going on.
Too much. Because it's the Grace and Billy effect. Like, they truly
are.
They are like, demonic.
That's literally, no, I wrote the same thing down. I'm like, yo, I didn't even realize that Grace and Billy effect reached all the way to like someone who wasn't even their kid. Like,
for real, like, they let Layla out here staying at the diner for company. Because he out here fighting, like, he
got kicked out of the baker's house. Like, yo, what? The bakers was like, we got too much going on right now.
They said we got a campaign to worry about, not you, infidelity. I was like, wow, true though. Because Billy thought he was going to get by with Billy thought the longer he waited, the more it would have been.
It bugs me so much that he tried to come at Laura like it was a long time ago. It just makes me upset.
Nah, for real. Like, as if y'all wasn't, like, you haven't invited her to the house every chance y'all got. Like, don't piss me off.
Like, she didn't answer a phone and hear Grace say, "Oh, Billy, I was just about to call you." Oh, it gets on my nerves. Anyway.
No, for real. Like, she thought she was. But that's not even the cake. Like, Laura will never know that. Grace
asked him, like, why Laura?
Why Laura? Yeah, like, I'm just like,
that was a crazy line.
I was like, why you?
Sick.
Why you gotta be the past memory? Why can't you be the new memory? That's the thing.
Yeah,
he was a little memory in the past.
It's crazy.
Like, and now he still want her. So
how about that? Championships, the season finale. Oh my goodness! At the end of season 1,
Lord have mercy.
This felt like both a season finale and the start of a new season somehow. But Spencer was just getting ready for the championship. Speaking about Laura, again, she's such a G, bruh.
A goat.
In Grace's home, helping Coop the very next episode.
Right.
And Grace was trying to touch her. She was like, "Get off me. Unhand me. I know where the door is.
Right.
I've been in this house enough."
Right, because she... because she thought, like, I don't know, but like
Grace, I mean, Laura is
she
better
did what she
than
had to
me.
do. Yeah, she better than me.
Laura
Because
is
once she did, I was
better
like,
than me.
my
Just caught me
marriage,
one good time.
No.
right at the house.
Oh
Flung
my
her
God.
phone or something. Spit on her shoe or something.
Oh my gosh.
She better than me because like she lost me. I'm sorry, but they're like Laura literally helped with Tyrone and like was out here giving out recommendations and also was like, yeah, you know, Tyrone is in the police is looking into Tyrone because for Preach potential murder because you know Preach is still in the hospital, and she's doing work for people.
She is doing work. And honestly, I wrote down here that Coop outsmarts Tyrone, but honestly, Laura outsmarts Tyrone. Like Coop figures out that Tyrone there's like a snitch. She was trying to be the gang leader or whatever, but whatever. Coop eventually gets Tyrone to confess that he did whatever he did, and the police arrest him at the end of the episode. I was just like, thank.
Like if she waited, if Laura waited a couple more seconds, Coop would have got popped. Honestly,
I know. I'm like, dang. I feel like Laura was just like a little bit. She was just like, I don't. Yeah, I just want to test. I just want to test the waters a little bit.
She want to test the waters.
She did wait a long time. The police waited a long time to come out there.
Like they had a whole conversation. Like I think Tyrone at a point was like, yo, you was out here conspiring my young.
Tyrone was like 2 seconds from clicking the gun before the cops pulled out.
He was going to pop because he lost everything now. Like, what is there to lose? Like, he lost his game. He got to move out the city.
Yeah.
Like, he gonna end on a city girl term. City boy.
No, for real. I was like, what does that mean? That reaction video where it was just like, don't come around this way because you will get clapped. You will get clapped. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it was.
He said, mess around, find out. Like, Coop over here. Like, exactly. This is the thing. Her and Spencer are besties for life, for real. Because they'll do something.
They're one and the same, for real.
Yeah, one and the same. Because they'll do something, and then when the retaliation happens, they're over here looking dumb in the corner.
What?
Like, every time a weapon is pulled out, they're like, I didn't know
what?
you carried
How is this?
I didn't know you was about the streets.
I'm invincible. What do you mean?
For real. They said, I have that black excellent shield. You will not kill me.
If it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Seriously, like, Coop, you gotta think. Like, you brought this man to the bathroom. You in the corner, not him. Well, no, she technically at the door. She technically was at the door. She somehow was able to reverse that. But, girl, you can't reach that door fast enough for him to not clap.
She just ran out quick.
No, for real. She want to have a discussion talking about you should have laid low. Get off the grid. Telling this man how he should escape. He got tired of that. He said, yo, when I see you, it's overkill.
Yeah.
On God.
Yeah, but he must have been hiding in the shadows. Like,
it was in the shadows. He's overkill. It's overkill.
No, let me not do that. It's overkill.
Let me redact. Not me trying to reciprocate.
We're gonna blur that out. Let me not. Look, I live in California. Let me not. I live in California now. Let me not do this. I just moved. I'm new. I'm from Baltimore. I don't know this life. No, no.
They say you affiliating? I do this for the squad.
No, we've been flouting.
Oh my God.
But besides the Coop thing, they really built up Asher and Liv because Liv is over here helping Harold.
Oh no, for real, cooking breakfast.
This was the most boring storyline, man. I didn't care at
It
all.
was annoying. Like why? Why did they have them go cooking for this man? Cooking for this racist man.
Who in the rooms? Yo, and I didn't see my dad laugh like that over some breakfast. Like, can we?
Like.
That's so weird. She's cooking breakfast with his dad. Like,
after she heard how trash he was, she over here talking something. Let me whip this breakfast. Like, Olivia, you better than me, because he was out here calling Spencer every type of boy hoodlum. Like,
the Live Defense Squad in me, after just messing with her, the Live Defense Squad in me is just like, you know what? She was just reeling from her parents' affair news, and she was just trying to figure out any way.
She was trying to find some parents, somebody to love.
She was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah, that's what she was thinking.
Yeah,
I was going with that.
Olivia always gonna come through for somebody. Like she truly is that girl. I just wish sometimes she let people be unsaved. And Asher was truly annoying me at this moment. Well, at this point he had already lost everything, but I won't forget how you like gaslit Jordan into thinking that it was a mutual thing between you and Olivia, and it wasn't.
Right.
So City Boy's down for you, but you're lucky she was there to let your dad laugh a little bit, a little chuckle, I guess.
Yeah.
But sure.
And most of this episode was surrounding Spencer being concerned that about this championship game and blah 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 and the community, and when I win the championship, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Da 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 da. And so
he pissed me off, bro. Why would you show up to the Crenshaw rally?
I hate that.
Why
that was the
even
worst. That was the most cringiest thing. I
got secondhand embarrassment.
And why was Olivia there too?
Can we have that conversation? I love how all of us like readjusted. Why was he there?
Right.
No.
How did him and Olivia just go there?
School hours.
See, Olivia was there for Chris. Olivia gets a pass.
But it usually happened during school hours, though. Like so that was like weird. Like I don't know. That was weird.
It was very weird.
She must have. It must have class.
Spencer is like a glutton for punishment at this point because it's just like even if, and I understand like you feel this bittersweet moment because this is really huge for Crenshaw and you want to be there for your community and all of that stuff, but it's like why would you willingly put yourself in an environment to feel even guiltier about this?
Yes, and then be shocked that Cam and them is like, bro, leave.
Yeah,
like we're about to go against each other.
He was really shook. He was like, he was shook.
That was the one moment where I was like, okay, Cam is actually in the right. Like, why are you here?
Yeah, like what are you here? And then
you have your own pep rally. Like,
and he was like, Chris, it's my community too. And it's like, in the next scene, you like, and when I'm going to win the championship, which is exactly what I'm like, yo.
Yeah, like what? Like he expect the team to like be thriving on his success while he living somewhere else. And then Chris kind of got me because he was like, you picked your team the day you transferred. Chris,
I feel like that's what football players have to do, though. Like, even football players who are friends, who are best friends in real life, they like, but this week, we ain't brothers no more.
Yeah,
right?
like, exactly. Week. Like, I don't understand why Spencer thinks he can just go and touch everything. Why would you go? No, for real, like, I'm really mad. Like, why would you go there? Then go on to
I really don't. Like,
and then go to their floor.
There's no reason.
Like, you could have sent a text.
There was no reason for him to be. And the thing is like, in addition to being... Right. In addition to there being no reason for him to go, he twisted himself even more into a knot. Like he felt guilty, or like his presence there made him feel guiltier about being at Beverly. And then he was such in a bad mood that Layla's being like, yo, you can't twist, what did she say? You can't twist yourself into a knot for one game.
Yeah, I put the whole thing on my notes. She said, no, Spencer, I just want you to stop trying to absorb all the world's problems as your own.
Yes,
because
no one can survive.
Like you come there to congratulate them on potentially going against you, and then you're mad that you might beat them. Like, wasn't that the point?
And then when your girlfriend is trying to be a girlfriend and saying you cannot survive under this weight of taking the world's problems,
he's like, I can.
You can trash your.
He's talking about
y'all come to your multi-million-dollar homes, which just got broken into, and you know she's loaded, right? And you think everything is okay. This isn't just a game, and it's like,
I'm like, it is though. I'm like, it is though, because you beat them and then you start, and you, it is, and then you dap up Chris like next episode. So, but anyways,
but again, this was another great, I think, example of how they prepared each other for other relationships in the future. Because this argument was
and I just don't understand how Spencer. He's the only one that has to go to Crenshaw. Do the Crenshaw people come to Beverly Hills to see you practice or your pep rallies? No. So why do you got to keep going to the community?
I hate
God,
it.
and
I
then
hate
like
it. It makes me
this
cringe.
like
It's the only thing that makes me cringe the way he really does.
I
Because I'm
skipped
like,
that
Yeah.
scene. I skipped that whole scene. Like I
I
couldn't
hate.
do it. I couldn't do it. I was like,
It's very annoying. It's very annoying. And it's just like first again, and it's like he attaches different meanings to, like just
to different
depending on
things.
like what's to different things and depending on like what's most convenient for him in his head at the time. Because first it was like he was coming to Crenshaw because he didn't feel a part of Beverly, right? He was coming to Crenshaw because he missed Chris, right? He was coming to Crenshaw because he had to worry about Dylan and his mom and blah 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 blah. And now it's like, oh, I'm coming to Crenshaw because the whole community needs me.
Yeah, like he changes his reasonings every time something else
I
is
am the
entered,
symbol of
like,
hope for everybody in Crenshaw.
right. Me playing football and twirling my feet on this grass gives kids drive to play football or live. I don't think everybody want to play football at Crenshaw. So what
I
message is
am
you
my
giving?
ancestors' dream.
Yeah.
I could have saved Sean.
Right, like if it wasn't for me, if I didn't come here, nobody would have got popped. If it wasn't for me, everybody would have still the gang still would have been
People,
here.
listen, the kids in Crenshaw, they don't believe in life unless
They
I
don't.
win this championship.
Right. Spencer said,
I
if I
give
don't
them
win
hope.
this game,
I give
literally.
them pride.
Spencer said, if I don't win this game, the people at Crenshaw are going to stop going to school because they got no hope for them.
Literally.
I put that on my mama. Like,
just
bruh,
like my mom
it's
told
not-
me that I'm placing them. Me winning this championship is placing them at the start of the
No, for real. He said dream chasers turn to like, oh my God, like
It's so
stop
dramatic.
Dream
being
Chasers
real.
up 1,000.
Right.
So dramatic.
Football boys up 1,000,000, like, and then like, but Jesus Christ, Spencer was going through it. That superhero complex
No, he was.
coming
He was.
clutch this episode.
And it's like, it's so interesting because it's eventually his dad had to sit him down and be like, "Yo,
Mhm.
I remember watching you play, and it wasn't about like everybody else. It wasn't about like your family, and it wasn't about your community, and it wasn't about just all of the stress of whatever. You just played because you love the game, and obviously this is after he injures Chris, and he sort of takes himself out of the game. But I really love that conversation between Spencer and Corey because it's just like, oddly enough, Corey was the only one who could get through to him to say, like, it's just a game. And so many people had tried to tell him it's just a game. And Corey is actually the one that was just like,
Got to him.
You're just a kid. Like, just go play the game that you like to play.
Yeah. And then he came in at the end and was like, yo, I'm going to be a captain. I mean, a coach for Crenshaw. You want to come play? That's wild. That's wild of Corey, but
It was. I thought you were talking about when Spencer asked Billy to go back into the game, and Billy, which I was just like, this I will watch this episode at like a very interesting time because the thing with DeMar from the Bills had just happened, and it was just like, it's so sick how realistic the show did show like how injuries happen, because Chris literally got carried out on a stretcher, and you have people being like, oh, it was a clean hit, continue with the game. That type of mentality, that's like the sick part of, because I'm a football fan, but like that's the sick part of football I hate. That was
something. That was something a few weeks ago when they were trying to decide about
with the Bills, let's say safety.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to think about that and watch that episode so quickly after that happened. But yeah, Corey was out of pocket for asking him to come play for Crenshaw.
For real, like
so soon too. Like, bro, go do your own thing.
And then you got everybody else like spiraling between, like, besides Corey. Like
that
Corey,
cliffhangers.
Not only did he ask Spencer to join him at the Crenshaw, but he also asked Grace, like, was Dylan his son or Billy's? I'm just like,
ending the season on his Dylan my son. I was like, what? I was shook because I was just like, we're in the clear, everything is out in the open. I mean, people are down horrendously. Nah. But when he brought up that Dylan thing, I'm like, hey, yo, you right.
I'm like, bruh, you is kind of right. Like, shoot. But, and like, it was just, Corey was coming in with all the clips. Like, he said, GW who or JW who, time for me to come in with this spilling tea.
Yeah, it's time for me. It's time for me to
yeah,
mess
but
things up.
I feel like he waited too long to like just come out and ask that. Like it's already been years. Like if you thought like Dylan wasn't your son, like you should have asked like sooner. Like
and as soon as they're having like a nice family dinner, like Spencer's over here praying over the whole entire family. They eating dinner together. She's like, okay, well now that I have you cornered in the kitchen, is Dylan my son? I would like to know. I would very much like to know if Dylan is my son.
Yeah,
they have scenes like that all the time, and like the table is right there, and like they go right around the corner, and I feel like nobody ever hears the conversation.
No one ever questions it. No one questions why. So insane.
Like they'll be yelling, and like nothing happens, and
right.
It's so annoying. I hate that aspect of television.
Every time, like I know that man
suspending my disbelief. Yeah,
yes.
I know y'all.
I know Spencer and Dylan heard you ask that question.
Literally, yeah, I know they heard this conversation. The walls ain't that. The walls are thin over in Crenshaw.
Paper at this point, girl. I know he heard.
Yeah.
He just being quiet.
Especially because we heard Micah. We heard Micah over here.
Yeah, I know he heard that.
I know the walls are thin.
I was about to say that. I was like, I know he heard what. Actually, I mean, Spencer say, "Why you here, cuz?"
Meanwhile, Jordan and Liv are still pissed at their dad. Jordan hasn't really talked to his dad. He's still, Beverly goes out. They win the championship game. Jordan still hasn't really talked to his dad that much. Laura eats Billy up again, and she's just like, "I hope you find the man that I married because
you ain't there.
You ain't it."
Yep. And then Jordan and Spencer finally bond again. He said he's like my brother. Before that, I think was it after the game or before the game when he was telling him
it was before the game. Yeah, it was like they had a mini fight because he was pushing him because of the affair thing. But yeah, it was like Jordan went up to Spencer and was just like, "I know how hard this is for you, and I just want to let you know that." And they I think this is the first time they call each other brothers, right?
Brothers, yeah.
Spencer's just like, "Yeah, you're my brother." So that was really cute. And then
that was cute.
Talk about crazy endings. Layla.
Yeah, I was gonna say Layla and Olivia. They were going through it. Olivia said, and I quote, "Being best friends with someone shouldn't be this much work." After because she said they've been lying and fighting to each other all year. So their relationship is already like she's touching something that's been kind of brushed over this whole season, but more so, I guess her lying about her mom and dad affair of knowing really set her into that mode of like we weren't even really that good of friends.
That line always makes me laugh because she was just like, "I know you're upset about the fact that I didn't tell you about your parents' affair," and she's like, "No, I'm not upset." And I'm like, "Liv, you're upset.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be real.
Let's just be honest."
But anyways,
and the thing, and she comes back later after Chris. She's at the hospital. With Chris, right? And she sort of, I want to say she goes to call Layla. I think that's what happened. Anyway, she ends up going to her house in the middle of Layla trashing her house because she's been alone. She's been slowly on a downward spiral since about episode 10, and just nobody has really noticed it.
Noticed or like whatever. And I just feel like it was something that was needed. And I just feel like she's been trying to everybody's been so in their own thing and in their own way or their own problems that no one really noticed that Layla was literally slowly spiraling into Olivia came at that moment when she was trashing everything.
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
That was gut wrenching, especially combined with everything else that had happened. It was that's one thing season 1 had in spades is these really, really heightened emotional, just gut wrenching moments.
Yeah,
that was sad.
It was intense, but because you were just I
don't know. And then ending it on "Is Dylan my son?" and fade to black was insane.
Yeah, that was intense because I was just like, what? And I'm just sitting here I'm like, so did you you bore him this? You bore this guy? I mean, this boy this gift you don't even know if your son or not. He was here for the. He was just here for the vibes.
Honestly, good for him. Good for him.
Good for him though.
Getting a gift. I mean, he wasn't. He was trash and abandoned his family, but good for him for bringing a gift.
Yeah, Crenshaw was like, "You ain't gonna make up for. I'm gonna give you missing 17 plus years." Yeah.
So, with that being said, what were y'all's overall thoughts of season 1 and revisiting it from where your vantage point is now? What was it like?
Second favorite season?
Yeah, season 3 is my favorite, but I think season.
Really?
Yeah.
I love season 1 though.
Season.
I like season 1, but
Oh, wow.
Season 3 is my favorite.
I love season 3A. If I could cut it in half, I didn't like the second half.
Oh, true. No. Season 3B pissed me off because Spencer once again put back on the main cape and said, "I ain't gonna graduate. I ain't gonna graduate." I'm just like.
But I think overall it was just like a.
This is the wind up.
I think it was intense.
I don't know.
And it was just good. I don't know.
I don't know what's my favorite season. I think 3 or 2, but I feel like after 3A is probably the best thing. I feel like 3 is probably the best.
I think 3 has the best episode in All American. Like,
see,
I think
306. Oh, Vegas, you love Vegas.
Yeah.
I love the episode that comes before Vegas. 306 still has a special place in my heart. Yeah, I always looked at season 1 with nostalgia. And season 1, I think, before this rewatch, had still to this day been my favorite season. And now I'm figuring out that, like, I just have favorite episodes within different seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I can crown a particular season, like, my favorite season overall. Because I feel like I just have, like, a set of, like, 5 episodes each season where I'm like, these are elite.
Yeah.
These are elite.
Not elite. Not elite. No, for real.
But like season 1 is still really good, I think. Even with all of the...
Nah, it's still really good. Like, I rewatch it all the time. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
It's like... It's interesting because it has like a lot of secrets and all that stuff, and it's interesting.
Yeah, the secrets. Honestly,
so.
I think the secrets is one of their best executed storylines as a whole. It's still so entertaining. Still so entertaining. Yeah. But yeah, I love season 3A for Bolivia specifically.
Definitely, they gave us what gave. Like, I was eating up this emotional cheating. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, oh damn, like. Sorry to Spayla and Ask Livia, but home is coming.
Yeah.
Home is coming.
Yeah. Wow. But this has been fun, guys. This was awesome.
Yeah.